Yeah, I quite appreciated that you were just careful about how much you shared.
Yeah, it's probably
beforehand.
it was probably the opposite. It was just like I was careful because I was so embarrassed about the quality of the voice memos, really.
This video is being sponsored by our friends at GPU Audio, who are about to release their free plugin suite for Mac OS. More from me in a bit. Nathan and Ben, how did this start then?
I guess the first day we got to France, we kind of set up in the kind of main live room there. I think this was one of the first ones we kind of started on. The way it was set up was as a performance involving me, which is that was kind of a new thing for me, of kind of being part of the recording process for in terms of performance at least. So I had a sort of drum machine and a few pedals and things, and
yeah, I mean, you had all the drum machines. We had quite a few
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we all kind of played in the room and just kind of using Ben's demos as the kind of arrangements, and just did long takes. I think this one was probably the longest out of all the kind of takes we did. It was kind of well over an hour of just playing it through over and over again, and then then we had to kind of sift through everything we'd done and comp it all together into a song.
Yeah, I think it was sort of one of those where the comping process was almost like this task that for this song it kind of stayed with us the whole time we were there, was this thing and this behemoth in the background that was needed. We knew there was loads of good stuff in there, but at some point we needed to do an edit on it and actually turn it into a song. But it was quite a lot of music, a lot of different sections and stuff through it. It was sort of experimenting through drum machines and delays. I just had that stuttered guitar part that I'd had, was kind of, it's been quite a feature on this record, a kind of dual delay. It's just, how I enjoy kind of making as much of the rhythm section as possible out of a guitar.
A lot that were kind of based around those rhythms.
Do you have any of the demos?
Yes.
Excellent. How do you normally go about demoing a song, Ben?
A mix, but usually little voice memos. And then, inevitably you get stuck on, the sonic qualities of, acoustic guitars through voice memos on iPhones and stuff sounds really good. And then you try and, really difficult when you chase sounds. So you kind of have to put it down and believe that it's a sketch, and sort of never try and search for it too hard because you'll send yourself mad.
Yeah.
But there's certainly a few. That's my process, is sort of sketches in voice memos. Hours and hours of nonsense.
So do we have anything for walking backwards then?
Yeah. Put that.
As I mentioned, GPU Audio are about to release their free plugin suite for Mac OS, featuring classic modulation and time-based effects. Also, their first partner plugin with Vienna Symphonic Library will be out in a matter of weeks, with more GPU-accelerated plugins coming in the near future. Get the latest news and all their free plugins by heading over to gpu.audio/tape notes. Links in the description below. Thanks to GPU Audio for supporting the show.
I think it's probably got, Oh, yeah.
So you've got a drum machine going.
Yeah. It's a CR78, isn't it?
Yeah, this was the main one that had a drum machine. I think a lot of the others were just the kind of guitar doing the rhythm through a pedal.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster as well, actually, isn't it?
Faster, it's sort of different. You can kind of hear the guitar in the room as well, actually. Just not just the amp, the actual tactiles. Mumbled vocal for it.
Where was this? Can you remember? Are you taking this kind of setup wherever you go?
Yeah, this is my pretty basic home setup. Yeah, the drum machine. Yeah, I think that sounds like I'm Is the jazz, I think. Yeah, you know, guitar, delay, drum machine, and then drum machine through a delay pedal often. But yeah, voice. You know, it's I get quite stumped by you know, having a decent recording setup. So actually, voice memos for me are a really nice way to get a clear picture really quickly of like whether there's a song in there, rather than, you know, worrying about gain levels and getting into technicalities on the computer. Like it would just cut me off quite quickly. So voice memo is a really nice way just to put it on the phone. You get a kind of warts and all version of you know, mumbled vocals and slight delay patterns, and whether a drum, sometimes you play a drum beat and it sounds really good and you play it back and the references from so much other stuff hit you, and so you have like, you know, and that's actually one of, you know, Nathan's amazing skills is reference point for drum machines. I'm always just like fumbling in the dark with drum machines of like rhythms that I enjoy, and sticking them through delay pedals so they do things spontaneously, you know, almost do stuff for you, and you have a really good kind of reference focus point in rhythms and beats and stuff. Where I'm sort of, I feel like I'm just fishing most of the time.
Yeah. And how long have you been working with drum machines as a tool to unlock your ideas? Fairly consistent. Probably since Noonday, I'd say. That since that record, someone gave me one of those Korg Volca beats. Is kind of a great starting point. Really kind of versatile, you know, little pocket drum machine that you can take everywhere with you. So that I used to take that traveling with me. Just and then, you know, couple it with a nice delay pedal, and you've got like a world of possibilities. Yeah. Well, I mean, that demo already conjures up a world. I mean, did you share demos before you got to France with Nathan? I mean, were you playing in things from your phone in that coffee shop when you were having that coffee?
I don't think you were, but you did send me, maybe sort of a day after that, you sent a few. You were definitely you sort of held back. I think you had a lot more, you were saying, but you were only willing to send it sort of 2 or 3, which was, I kind of like that, because I think the less, for me, a lot of the time, the less I hear before getting in with someone, the better, because as nice as it is to have an impression of a world that you're creating, it's like you're saying, if you have too much of an impression of that world, you're just trying to recreate that thing the whole time when you get in together, and it sort of can feel a bit restrictive. So yeah, I quite appreciated that you were just careful about how much you shared.
Yeah, it was probably the opposite. It was just like I was careful because I was so embarrassed about the quality of the voice memos. Really, like it's quite a, you know, that's for me. I remember it being quite a big moment to actually, you know, to share those initial recordings, because they are kind of, you know, early naive windows to something, and they're unfinished, and they're you know, sometimes they're just not great. So
I'm quite easily impressed by demos, so that it worked for me.
Sounds great to me. I mean, it is a sketch, you know, but that's what it's for.
Yeah, they're sketches. I think if you can believe that in your head, that it's a sketch, and it's that it almost gives you the freedom to A, share it, and then B, kind of continue with the idea and not let the idea overcome everything else and stop you from kind of embellishing it.
Yeah.